Okay, let's see out, please. Yes, sir. Yeah, well, that's the thing. So the idea is it's meant to be personalized for you. So if you find something, obviously if you understand that A plus A is 2A, and you know that and you can do that and there's no problem, don't bother writing it. But I think within each one, there's certain points that you can highlight to yourself. For example, if you struggle with adding and subtracting negatives or the sign of terms, maybe that's something to write about. Okay, so hopefully after you do it for a little bit, you start to learn what sort of things, what sort of format helps you, how you can do it. Okay, so basically I want it to be personalized to you to help you to do it in the way that is helpful. I'm not saying you have to do this and then this and this. I just want to see you going through the stuff. Okay, we're talking about multiplying and dividing algebraic terms, expressions. We're multiplying. You don't need to write a multiplication sign, obviously. We don't do 5 times x times y. At this stage, we're just dropping those things, 5xy. Okay, that's what it means, is that 5 multiplied by x multiplied by y. So when you, and it's also something that often people get confused about, you don't, when you multiply terms out, when we're combining terms of multiplication, they don't have to be like terms. Alright, you can have AB multiplied together, you get AB. Because we're not talking about having how many lots of A, how many lots of B, and adding them together. We're talking about we're multiplying it. And so we can just write it in that way. And when you have the same variable multiplied, the power increases. Alright, x times x is x squared. So that's the definition of the power. 2x's multiplied together is x squared. 3x's multiplied together is x cubed. AB times B is AB squared. Alright, well 2x squared times x cubed equals 2x to the power of 5. So all these things, making sure you're familiar with, it's the same variable, the power will increase. They're different variables, just write them together. And then the convention is, and it's for the ease of simplifying, when dividing we use a fraction sign rather than the division sign. Alright, and that's what fractions are. Fraction is division. Okay, so we now need to sort of stop distinguishing between fraction and division. Fractions are dividing the numerator by the denominator. That's by definition what they're doing. They're just writing it in that form. But the operation that's happening there is a division operation. And so when we write something over something, so 2xy over 4y squared, this is much easier to look at and then cancel out common factors. So that we can then simplify what's happening. And when dividing algebraic terms, the goal is to cancel out common factors from the terms so you can write it as simply as possible. So either as just a single term or as an algebraic fraction, which has different numerals and variables. Okay. So that's in a nutshell what we're talking about. Any questions so far? Good? Good? Right. So if I move up a touch, then if we have this few easy examples, 8AB times 2B. Okay, now if I wanted to, I'm not going to do this often, but just for the sake of today we'll do it. I can write it out with the signs. Oops. Now obviously 8 times 2, we can do that, that's 16. Then we have A times, and then B times B is what? B times B is?
B squared.
Already. Okay, 16AB squared. But hopefully, and again, like I said yesterday, the goal is, with these basic sort of algebraic skills, is you're increasing your fluency in it. You're increasing your ability to simply quickly see something and be like, that's 16AB squared. You can just look at it and say that straight away. Yes? Yeah. Just square the B. Yeah, put brackets. And then the square.
Let's say it was AB squared times 2AB squared. Would it then be 16A squared B squared?
Yeah, sure. As in A, B. How about you ask me out? And then you write out what you mean.
No.
Just write it down, what you mean, and then I'll ask me about it in a second.
Alright.
Okay. Next one, minus 6x. Now remember, negative times positive is what? Negative multiplied by a positive is a negative. Positive times a positive. Negative times a negative. Positive. Alright, we need to remember that. So this is a negative term. This is a positive term. Okay, minus 6 times x times 4 times a times b. Minus 6 times 4, what's that? Minus 6 times 4, negative 24. And then x and a and b, there's nothing else, so a, b, x. Some places it talks about it. I'm just trying to think back over my university time and stuff. Whether there's an expected convention to do it in alphabetical order, it's not really so important. But if you think of it, you can put the variables in alphabetical order. It doesn't really matter. Yes.
Like 4BA is the same as 4AB.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Okay. We have a cubed divided by 2a squared. I'll make sure the size is bigger. So the first thing we have to do is rewrite this in fractional. Okay? A cubed divided by 2a squared, a cubed over 2a squared. And if you wanted to, you should be able to recognize it, but we can write the top as a times a times a over 2 times a times a. And of course, common fact is, when you divide something by itself, it goes to 1, so it just cancels out. So a divided by a, that's 1, that goes away, that goes away. And so what we end up with is a over 2. Right? You don't disagree with what I did? You don't have any problems? No? Okay? So write it like this. I mean, again, becoming fluent in this, you see a cubed, a squared. Well, the a squared cancels out and we're left with one lot of a, because a cubed divided by a squared is just a. Okay, you should just be able to get to see that, but if you want to take time at this stage, just sort of get used to it again, you can do that as well. Right. Last couple. 36x squared y cubed divided by minus 9y squared. What happens to the y cubed and the y squared? What's left? Yeah, so on the top, so we can do the y squared cancels out totally, and what we're left with is just y on the top. So we write y. Is there anything that will cancel out this x squared term? No, so the x squared term is going to stay the same. 36 and minus 9. What's 36 divided by minus 9? Negative 4. So this cancels, and this goes to 4. The thing about fractions and the negative sign is the convention again is that you write the negative sign on the top. You don't write two negative signs because that means there's two negatives divided by each other, that's cancelled. It just means you write minus 4 x squared y. So actually we've cancelled out the whole lot, and so we don't even need this line anymore. So we're left with minus 4 x squared y. Any questions about that one? Good. And then the final one. Okay. And please make sure, if you don't ask now, that's fine. Make sure you ask me when I come around. Okay? So sometimes, especially with these negatives and dividing and cancelling out common factors and all that sort of stuff, you just need to check make sure that you're familiar and able to do all this. Yes. We got a traffic stack that do that. Yeah. So you don't need a traffic. Okay. Okay. So this one, there's lots of ways you can do this. There's something multiplied together and divided. It's really up to you, the order you do it in. You could do the division first and then multiply it or whatever you like, but I'll probably go from left to right. So let's multiply these two first. 3ab times 2a squared is 6a cubed b divided by 6b squared a squared. Okay, and that equals, if I rewrite it, 6a cubed b over 6b squared a squared. Now, the 6, that's a common factor, so they're going to cancel out. There's an a cubed here and an a squared. A cubed divided by a squared is just a. And then we have a b squared and a b. Cancel out the b, and then that will just be left with b. So what we end up with is a over b. And that is the solution to this. When you've simplified it, taken it step by step, you end up with a over b. Alright, so just a note quickly that there's a different operations required. You need to use order of operations. If it's plus and minus, remember that. Don't write this down. Okay, now I can go back up. Exercise 2.02. ACE 1 to 3, 4, 5, all of them. Alright, now, let's stop the recording first.